can be only one podcast, and may it be the Prince of the Universe. Hi, folks, I'm Matt. Whoo! And it's just me today. Going over a few things here. There's something, and it's the Christmas season here. We're going to have Bruce on next week, and then Wes. I'm going to have him back on. So we did a podcast. It was Saturday Morning Sam Flange. It was a few weeks ago. We did about Thanksgiving, one of still my favorite holiday ever. And in it, Benjamin had a great idea. It was talking about things he's thankful for that happened to him, events that he was thankful for the whole year, and did it in chronological order. And I thought that was really smart. My idea was just doing generic ones. However, I knew that the one thing that I really wanted to talk about, I was going to talk about it for, 10 minutes, maybe longer. And I said, I'll just make all mine really short, and then my last one will be really long. And we didn't have a chance to do it because it went way over. I don't really like it when podcasts go past the 30-minute mark. I mean, we do that every once in a while here. We go 33, 32, 31, which I'm fine with. I'm totally fine with. But if it gets into the high 30s or mid 30s, I start saying, hey, let's just cut it and let's do another one. Because 30 minutes is around 30 minutes, a pretty sweet mark for me when I'm listening to podcasts or videos or whatnot. I think 30 minutes is just great. But I wanted to give mine, but I knew if I'd have talked, it'd have been a whole hour. And though I love Thanksgiving, and I'm glad that that's a 45-minute episode, because again, I thought we should have just done Benjamin stuff, cut out my little 10 minutes and just had Benjamin in there, because his was really good. But I wanted to do my own, and I wanted to talk about number one. I said family, and there's something I wanted to tell a lot of you that I just haven't told anyone. I mean, but people who know me know this, but a lot of you don't, who follow me on YouTube and everything. So, 'tis the season now to be joyous about a few things. I'm joyous about one thing. To let everyone know, last year I had plans to do a bunch of interviews. We're going to do author interviews. I had L. Neil Smith's daughter, who at the time, now the book's already out, it came out in April, but she was going to talk about she was working on the final edits of her father's last book in some series. And, now I can't think of her name now. Rena? We were going to have her on. I was talking to her, and we're going to have her on. We're going to have another excellent author on. I can't think of his name right now. His book's behind me. I can't pull it over here, but he's going to come back on later on. And then a third author. Now, out of all these authors, it was going to be, I think I was going to call it Off the Page, where I interview authors and just ask them questions and whatnot, then ask them some just random questions. And I wasn't going to really do Star Wars authors. I wanted to talk to a few. Of course I did. But I just didn't want to make it about Star Wars authors either. In fact, out of the three authors I had started off for the first shows, only one of them wrote Star Wars, and he refused to talk about it. He said, I do not want to promote my Star Wars books. I went, that's fine. I'll tell you who that is later, because we're going to have him back on. But I was like, that's great, though. And I thought it was going to be so funny that I have this show where I interview authors, and not one of them, at least for the first 5 or so, we weren't going to talk Star Wars. And then eventually, yes, I'd have Star Wars authors on, of course. But I had that going on, and everything was getting ready to go. And then my dad got some bad news. He had cancer. And he found this out. It's a deadly type, one that, there's 0% recovery from it. And that's because usually it's undetectable. It hides. You have to really search for it, know what you're looking for to find it. But once it breaks out into the body, once it just gets out into the bloodstream or whatnot, it's over. It's over by then. And so most people have 6 months to live. And that was the type he had. Now, the odd thing and the blessing about this was they had found it by accident. And it wasn't at that stage yet. I don't know what the stages are, but it was right before it started getting serious. Now, already, this is a very deadly cancer. And so it is serious. I mean, he went to MD Anderson immediately afterwards when they found out what type of cancer it was. And like I said, it was all just by God ordained it that he just happened to have a surgery that didn't work exactly as the doctors thought. So when they went to do a deeper look at what was going on, that's when they found the cancer. And we're kind of everyone was shocked by this. And then they found what type it was, and they were really shocked. That's how he got straight into MD Anderson. And then when they looked at it, they said, you know what? You're not, it's not in the bloodstream yet. It's localized or whatever it's called. So we think it could be treatable. Not saying it, will be gone, because this is the most deadly one. I don't remember the name of it, but Dad's going to be honest and upfront with us. So he told us what type it was. We all looked it up, and I remember calling my sister going, mine says 100% death. What does yours say? I was like thinking, I must be missing something, and, like 6 months to live or whatever. And I was like, oh no, this is not good. So the real reason why everything kind of went off the track and we went to rereads and stuff like that was because of that. I wanted to focus on Dad. And I thought starting with Halloween, I guess, I thought I was just, in my mind, that was the last of the holidays I'd ever spend with my dad. So I wanted to make them count. And so that's why everything kind of went south. Now, I didn't announce this. I didn't make it big on YouTube. I told a few people. A lot of close friends, of course, knew. Some people didn't. I think there's, unfortunately, some people on the podcast who are going to, my regular co-hosts are going to be like, wait, what? Because I don't think I told Benjamin. I'm not sure I told Wes. I don't remember. I wasn't trying to keep it a secret, but I just don't want to be down. Like, what do you say? What do you say to someone who says, yeah, my dad's got 6 months to live? So I didn't want to be a downer about it or anything. And anyway, so I kind of changed the direction, did a lot of videos and got ahead and just kind of and that's kind of why I was stepped away for the end of last year and the first of next year as well, at least the first couple months. I was just focusing on my dad because it didn't look like he'd make it to April, according to what we were reading. And he did radiation treatments and everything, and then got the message, earlier that year, earlier this year, I should say, that he was clean, 100%. So it was really a miracle there. And I had to go back. He's going to go back and get his 6-month checkups and everything. 6-month checkup came through. Still good. Nothing there. So it didn't even come back. Not only did they get it all, but it didn't come back either. Now, of course, he's got to do a yearly check-in, right? You should. Make sure it never comes back. And we think it's hereditary. So I know what I'm getting. One Christmas. That's not going to be fun when I get older. And, of course, I'll have to be tested probably a lot sooner than that because they think that my grandfather had it. That's the kind of cancer he had. He had a lot of things wrong with him in the end. Cancer was one of them, but they didn't know what type, and Dad thinks it was that. So, thankfully, everything was fine, and that was just such a blessing there. And but that's what happened. And work was great. Work was super. My job was super awesome. Because I was really nervous about it, and I wanted from Thanksgiving on. I did show up that week between Thanksgiving and the first part of December, but I kind of went to my boss, hat in hand, and said, "Hey, I want to take everything. I want to take all. I never took sick leave. I want to take all my sick leave, the rest of my vacation, anything else they could scrap together for me." And boy, did they. They offered several weeks to me. I didn't tell anyone this. I took most of the month off. I think almost the entire month of December was off for me. They even offered me January weeks off, like extra weeks off. They were just trying to find anything they could give me to get off. And that was really, really, really kind of them. My boss and my boss's boss were automatically, just like, yes, whatever you need, take it. What? How can we help? And so, because I was seriously thinking, man, I need to spend every minute, because from Thanksgiving on, I remember looking at him at Thanksgiving thinking, oh, geez, this is it? It's like Christmas the same way, too. You do want to say, oh, well, maybe he'll beat it. But you know how awful this disease is. So I wasn't sure. I was really worried about it. And, of course, prayed a lot about it. And thankfully, everything is working out. So now, the thing I'm thankful for the most, I didn't get to talk about here, and we're exactly at 10 minutes here, is that my dad's here for another holiday season. And that's really nice. Now, Some people's parents, they're gone now, and that's what happens with people my age. Some of my co-hosts don't have family anymore. Some still do, and it's sad. But as we get older, of course, our mom and dad and grandparents and everyone, they get older and they pass away, and then you have the first Christmas without any grandparents. That was last Christmas for me. I didn't have time to. My brain wasn't even processing that. But just because I was so focused on dad and everything. But now this year, I started thinking, it's like, wow, this is Christmas without my me mom, She was the last grandparent I had alive, living, and passed away last May. And I told a fun story about that. But anyway, and I do mean fun because I backed up a U-Haul truck at her funeral, which I did not want to do. But my dad and my aunts were insistent that I start taking the stuff from her during the wake. How awkward was that? But now thinking back, now it's Christmas time. Whenever I see wrapping paper or big Christmas trees or giant ornaments or stuff like that, I used to, the last few years that my grandmother was still living in her home, she would complain because she wanted her Christmas tree up. And no one was there to put it up. Now, my wife and I, we didn't have kids back then. And we always visited my grandmother twice a year on our own and then once with the family. Once that was during our beach vacation. She was right there. We'd always go 4th of July. We always spent 4th of July with her. And so, because I really don't care for that holiday at all. I don't care about going out and doing fireworks or whatnot. So I thought, well, you know what? We have some extra time off. Let's take some time and we'd spend a long weekend with my grandmother. And that's what we always did. And it was fun. It was fun. And seeing the cousins. And then we come back at Christmas. And I believe it was the week after Thanksgiving, because my wife always does Black Friday shopping. But the next week it was, to my grandmother's. And where, I'd set up the Christmas tree, decorate and everything, and then she'd come in and rub her hands and say how I did something wrong. But it's fine. But I just remember all those memories and everything, because we used to do alternating Christmases at both of my grandparents' house. And I think about that now, but then now I'm starting to think, wow, Christmas without your grandparents and everything. Now, maybe I'm speaking to the choir. Someone's like, well, Matt, I haven't had my grandparents in years, Or if you still do, that's great. I'm just saying, this is the season, this is the year. Not to be too cheesy, but it is about family. It really is. I mean, I'm finding that more and more because to me, my parents just haven't aged in 20 years. I mean, they have, but in my eyes, it's still the same. It's still dad coming up the stairs, waking us up every morning, to go to school. And I know they're older. I remember a couple of years ago, I think, my mom was getting worried because my dad had some simple operation. Like, Mom, what's going on? She went, well, he's in his 60s by now. I was like, oh, yeah, I guess he is. Now he's in his 70s. But, and I mean, my grandfather, his dad lasted to 82, so 10 more years. I mean, so maybe I got 10 years, maybe I got less. I don't know. But from here on out, I plan to enjoy each and every one. And mainly I'm going to focus on Thanksgiving and Christmas, obviously. I always this is kind of weird, my wife and I have always done this ever since she was pregnant with kids, I think. We have always spent New Year's Eve at my parents' house. Now, everyone else has something to do, and they go out and do stuff. Eventually, we made 2, because I don't think my dad wants us there. I think he wants to go to bed at midnight. But we always kind of hang around with the kids, wait for the ball to drop, and then we go home immediately. But, we don't do much. We don't go out to many New Year's parties. I would not want to have someone, we do have a great person at work who will babysit my kids whenever. But I would not want to ruin someone's New Year's Eve babysitting 4 kids. I mean, true, they'll be asleep there, but you're not going to go to a party? I don't know. We don't really party either, but we always hang out with them. But it's around those holidays that I hang out with them the most. And I wish I had more time for, you always wish you had more time to spend with them. Like, Dad and I used to do lunches way, way back in the day. But now I can't. A, because I'm feeding 4 kids on my own. And B, I just I don't have the time. Work is just not that loose where I can I would have to take longer than an hour lunch, and I just don't have that time available. But like I said, the time that I spent with them last Christmas and everything, I mean, I was all over them. We had breakfast, I think, dinner, and lunch and stuff like that, and we just did a lot of nice things together. And so it was fun, but it's got me thinking around the holidays, that's really where you want to be thankful for. And going back to Thanksgiving, which is already past now, I was really thankful. I just sat around and I was just so thankful that everyone was there. Everyone, I was just missing one brother, but I'm just so thankful the family's together. We have these times. These are good moments. And I still, I want to videotape more during these moments. I want to be the annoying guy with the videotape. We never think it's that precious until, these moments are gone and they're years in the past. And we want to see what the kids used to look like or what we were doing and what funny things we were doing. Because some of those old Christmas, when I used to carry around my video camera, some of those videos are like the most treasured videos ever, and I've lost most of the tapes, sadly, on that. I converted some of them to DVD, but I can't find them anymore. Either way, though, those are just really precious moments, though, that, you'll always have. And I used to be the one that just videotaped everything, and I'm not anymore. I just don't. I'm trying to get better because I got kids who are growing up, and, I want to capture their moments, and they are growing up really fast, and they're doing really, really, really amazing things, funny things, and I'm missing a lot of it because I am not I am not the dad that's been faithful in catching up on that. I don't even take that many pictures. My wife takes more pictures than me, and of course we try to take more around the holidays. You always try to take more videos around these holiday seasons and whatnot. But so that was the main thing I wanted to talk about. And the other thing I wanted to talk about, other things, since I'm talking about thankfulness, and this is the season, it's not Thanksgiving now, but it's still the season here. But I am thankful, and I say this a lot, I'm thankful for all of my co-hosts. Bruce, who shows up whenever he can. Wes, who has been so awesome. Wes has been so awesome to show up, kind of take over when Bruce got too busy. And I've had tons of fun. The thing that I do with Wes is we do the podcast. I kind of wish we could do a little bit more, but that's on me. That's on me. That's not on him. That's on me. And then Benjamin too. Really thankful. And that these guys work around my schedule. I know I've said this several times. I can't complain if these guys don't show up. I jokingly complain when Bruce doesn't show up. But I can't complain because they honestly work around my schedule. It's not nice to show up later on a weekday. Usually we take these on weekdays at 8 o'clock or 8:30 or 9, when I'm trying to get them to come over later after all the kids are in bed. It's convenient for me because that's when I put the kids in bed, but not for them, especially if they have work the next morning, which Wes does a lot of the time. But it's just really awesome that they continue to do that. We have a lot of fun. When you hear us talking about something, we're laughing. It's not fake. We're having a great time. In fact, it's kind of funny. I know, I can't remember who it was. Wes and I have talked about this. Our pre-conversations and sometimes our post-conversations. This is even Benjamin too. The post and pre-conversations, I kind of wish I had recorded. I know Wes doesn't want them recorded. But I really love them. And I'm happy to have anyone on. I'm happy to have guests on too. But I just hate, to have to inconvenience people. Now, eventually in the next couple of years, my kids are going to be older to kind of take care of themselves. They'll know when to be quiet, I hope. And, so maybe we can get regular hours going for them. But for right now, just, thankful for them for working around me, making these podcasts enjoyable. I'll be honest with you. I didn't even know if I was going to keep both the podcasts for a while back. I can't remember what it was. I know that Mikey and CJ kind of went their own ways during Saturday Morning Santa Flange, and I kind of floundered around. Megan took over for about a year, and then she was like, I'm not doing this anymore. Like, she did not like doing it, even though she had fun when she was talking and everything, but was like, I'm not going to be your co-host forever. You need to find someone else. And then Benjamin, fortunately, came back in and took up co-host reins. Because Stepdaddy, who I loved for the very brief time he was taking the co-host range, he moved away, and I didn't have anyone. I honestly thought at the end of the year, after Megan did her final bow out, her end of the year, whatever it was, before Benjamin was going to take over, I thought, you know what? I'm just going to stop Saturday Morning Santa Flange. I'm just not going to do it. I just don't have anyone. And same thing with Bruce. When Bruce was stuck, we had Wes on as a guest here and there. Bruce could not show up, and then Wes just volunteered, say, "Hey, I'll do it with you. I'll run over with you. Yeah, I'm available." And to be honest, if Bruce had not, if Wes had not done that, I don't know if Prince of the Universe would have been around. Because at this point, Saturday morning Santa Flange was going well, and we had lots of things planned out. But Bruce and I just couldn't find times, and I don't like doing these solo. Really, I do these out of necessity when I need one or have something I want to say. But I don't really like talking on my own. I like talking with someone else. I think it's way more interesting than hearing me babble for, so long. But anyway, I'm really thankful, though, that Wes kind of stepped in, and he continues to step in. He loves doing this, too, and I love having him on here. Haven't had him on in a while because Bruce can do it. And not that I can't have both of them here, but I'd rather not inconvenience two people at the same time. I don't care about Bruce, though. I don't care about inconveniencing him. But either way, I'm really thankful for that. And other things I'm thankful for. Hopefully, the next few weeks or so when I'm off, I'm going to get some board games in. I don't know what my gaming group's going to be like and what we're going to be doing, but we're going to get some games played, that's for sure. I'm doing, at this point, I'm probably midway through my top 100 on YouTube. I know many people don't watch me for my board games, but it is one of the passions that I love, and I'm setting up to meet with two people, one who knows me for my board game reviews, who lives here locally, cannot wait to meet him and play some games. It's going to be a lot of fun. We don't have the same taste, I hear, but that's fine because he's going to introduce me to these new games. I'm seriously going to give them a try. And then on the other hand, I'm going to meet someone who knows me for my Star Wars reviews, and he lives in Arkansas, and we decided to meet halfway. So it's going to be like a 2.5 or 3 hour trip for me, which is fine. I don't mind doing it in a day, and probably hitting up for lunch and whatnot. So, I'm really thankful I get to meet like that. And then I got to meet people like Scott. Scott Johnson was just a superhero for agreeing to show up. I was getting kind of worried because when my wife wanted me to go to Orlando with her, which, by the way, it was a bad idea. It was a bad idea. In hindsight, I needed to save that money. I really needed to save that money. But if it hadn't been for Scott, then the whole trip would have been a waste. Honestly, the highlight of the thing. Because, my wife was in the classes all day. She was busy all day. Now, I'm not complaining. All I did was sit around the hotel on the last day. I read 2 full Star Wars books in a whole day. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Putting in those hours reading that. That was fun. But at the same time, did it have to be in an expensive hotel where every meal is like $30 a plate? No, I could have done that in the comfort of my own home for free, and that would have been a wasted trip. And I've thought about that last day. I was like, wow, I'm glad I got to read, but I could read in the comfort of my own home. I don't have to be here. And I did feel bad about wasting all that money and coming in. But that Scott was there for those first 2 days and hung out with me. And Ryan Kendall was there hanging out with me too. That was awesome. Totally worth it. Totally great to meet Ryan for the first time. Our ships have passed, in the night before, as we've just barely missed each other here and there in social meetings. But we finally got together. Hopefully it won't be the last time. We're going to plan something for next year, I think. But and that Scott came, and it was an awesome thing. I've talked about this several times on my live Q&As, but it was so awesome. So another thing I'm thankful for is getting a chance to meet all these people because there's a lot of cool, interesting people. Scott's one of them, too. I'm so happy. Really, if it had not been for Scott, meeting Ryan the day one would have been great, but Ryan had to fly out to Vegas the next day, and I'd have been bored, and I really would have hated myself, But that Scott was like, dude, I'll drive. And he drove. I hate when I'm inconveniencing people because, he's the one that had to come out of his way, and he spent money, too. I'm not saying he didn't spend no money, but I just really had a good time overall, and it made for an excellent year so far. So the year actually, I really liked how Benjamin really did chronologically in his life. So I got great news about Dad's cancer and everything, which was a great kickoff, a great summer. It was a great day. It was a great year for work. Honestly, work's wrapping up for me at this point, about to wrap it up for the year, and it's been strong year. I'm always proud of stuff when I keep busy. I'm, moving up, knowing, assessing more knowledge or growing more, career-wise. It's always a plus. So everything for me is just aces. It's just aces. There's a few things, you wish you could have better. I wish my kids would sleep through the night. I wish the babies would sleep through the night. But other than that, and they were doing great. They were doing great for like 1 week or 2 weeks prior to the time change. And when the time change came, everything went back to normal. I mean, and I get it. We don't adjust well. They're waking up later. They're going to sleep earlier. It's all messed up, man. And so we messed with their timetable. Now they're back up all night. Well, my boy is. He's up 2 or 3 times a night, as usual. And the girl wakes up once every 3 or 4 days. Not that much. Maybe 2 or 3 times a week. 3 times max, but twice maybe a week. And the boy's up every night. So I don't know what I'll be when I get a good full night's sleep. Because even when I was in the beds at the hotel, I could not sleep. I could not sleep. The sheets were too tight. The bed was stiff. It was not nice. My wife slept the entire. She loved it. She kept saying, "Oh, these beds. I love hotel beds." I'm here thinking, I hate it. I could not sleep. I was so uncomfortable. Woke up every time I turned around. I don't know, something about it. I just felt so uncomfortable. Plus, I just was like, I was worried. We left 4 kids with my coworker who did a great job and watching him. But at the same time, I was like, man, I feel like, what's it called? A Horton hatches an egg. I feel like the bird that flew away and left all the eggs for Horton to sit on and be miserable through the seasons. Now, my coworker was not miserable. She loves the babies, had a great time. Thankfully, that is exactly when they started sleeping through the night, miraculously. But she had to wait with them an extra day because we got stuck at the airport. And I thought, man, I feel like scum. I just feel like scum, leaving her with all the kids. So never again. If Megan wants to go on a trip, she was talking about Disney World next year with the girls, that's fine. Count me out. I don't want to go. It's not worth my time. It's not worth my money. I'd rather stay with the babies. I'm with the kids every night anyway, as she's doing random theater things still. And most of the day, Saturdays, I'm with them. So I'm used to that. It's part of my life. I've already gone through the rigors of my life. And that's fine, too. That's another thing I'm thankful for because, it's been great. It's been great to be able to kind of get to know the babies are just, they're big fans of Daddy. They see Daddy all the time now. We do things together. We have a lot of fun. We play. We laugh. It's fine. Sometimes when I get in about 4:30 or 5, and then we have to wait till 8. That 3 hours is a little too long. Maybe 2 hours would be better. But still, we get through. We get through, and that's what matters. And so these years, as they're young, and as I'm spending time with them as they're young, you don't get this again. You will not get this. I know my wife's going to regret it later on. Not spending more time with them when they're little. But, at the same time, she's doing what she wants to do. She loves theater, and, so she may not. She may be like, yeah, I love my theater. But for me, I just keep thinking, man, how fortunate am I to be spending this much time with them? So that's really cool, too. But overall, just wanted to talk about some of the blessings around Christmas time. Christmas season is a good one. It's second to me, honestly. Thanksgiving's still number 1. There's nothing wrong with Christmas. Christmas is a great holiday. Everyone should celebrate it. It's a lot of fun. Means a lot of things. Have fun. Feel the love. Sadly, my family, we're doing we drew names for Christmas. I'm so against that. I'd rather just have the $20, $10 gift than the $50 gift that they're promising me now. There's nothing I want for $50. And there's nothing they're going to buy me either. They don't know how to shop online, and they don't know any of the websites that I go to shop for things. So I'm getting butt kissed probably still. It doesn't matter though. I guess. But everyone wanted to do it, and I staved off the vote last year, and now this year everyone wants to do it. I get it. Money's time. Money's time for me. Who knows? Could I have afforded it? Probably not. Since I spent my money going to Orlando this year. But other than that, though, it's still going to be a good Christmas. We're going to have a great Christmas with the girls. Of course, they're getting to that age where Christmas is super exciting for them. The babies have no idea what's going on. They're just happy the room looks like someone's, playroom with all the lights and all the different Christmas decor. It's blowing them away. But anyway, that's just what I wanted to say. We're going to have Bruce on next week. We're going to talk about a few other things. I believe it's the Marvels. because yes, he saw it, I did not. And then Loki, the second season, since we reviewed the first season together. I was going to ask Wes if he wanted to do it, but I think Wes is totally checked out from Marvels, and good on him if he is, because boy, am I miserable. but we'll talk about that next time on Princes of the Universe.